A parent showed up to my classroom to fight a 14-year-old, and the kid handled it better than any adult I've ever seen. I've been teaching for 11 years and thought I'd seen everything until the day a grown woman showed up to my 7th period class ready to confront one of my students. The kid's name was Eli. Eli was one of those students who was way too smart for his own good. Not in an arrogant way. He was just genuinely witty in a way that made even me nervous sometimes, because I never knew what was going to come out of his mouth. But he was respectful about it. He never started anything. The problem was a kid named Bryce. Bryce was the type of student who made everything a competition. If someone got a better grade, Bryce had an excuse. If someone got picked first in gym, Bryce would say the game was rigged. He constantly tried to one-up everyone, but his favorite target was Eli, because Eli never seemed to care about any of it. That's what bothered Bryce the most. He couldn't get a reaction, so Bryce started making things up. He went home and told his mom that Eli was bullying him every single day. He told her he was calling him names, embarrassing him in front of the class, and that the teachers weren't doing anything about it. None of it was true. I watched these kids every day. Eli barely even looked in Bryce's direction, but Bryce's mom believed every word, and one afternoon she decided she'd had enough. I was in the middle of a lesson when my classroom door swung open so hard it hit the wall. This woman walked in like she owned the building. Full makeup, purse on her shoulder, finger already pointed. She scanned the room and said, "Which one of you is Eli?" Every single student froze. I stepped toward her immediately and said, "Ma'am, you cannot be in here. You need to go to the front office." She completely ignored me. She looked at Bryce and said, "Point him out." Bryce pointed straight at Eli with this smug little grin on his face like he'd just called in an airstrike. This woman walked right up to Eli's desk, leaned down, and started going off on him. She told him if he ever spoke to her son again, she'd make sure he regretted it. She said she knew people at the school board. She said she would have him expelled by the end of the week. She was loud, aggressive, and clearly trying to intimidate a 14-year-old kid in front of 30 other students. I was already on the phone calling the office for security, but Eli just sat there. He didn't flinch. He didn't yell back. He didn't cry. He just let her finish. And when she was finally done and standing there breathing heavy waiting for him to crumble, Eli looked up at her completely calm and said, "Are you done? Because I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. Your son told you I bully him every day, but you're the one who just walked into a classroom full of children and screamed at a kid half your size. So which one of us is the bully?" The entire room went dead silent. This woman's face went completely blank because she realized every single student just watched her prove his point. She opened her mouth to say something, but nothing came out. Then one of the girls in the front row started slow clapping, and then another kid joined, and then half the class was clapping. The woman looked around, grabbed Bryce by the arm, and walked out without saying another word. Bryce didn't come back to school for 3 days. When he did come back, he didn't even look at Eli. Security reviewed the hallway cameras, confirmed she had walked past the front office and gone straight to my room, and she was banned from campus for the rest of the year. But here's the part that stuck with me. After she left and the class calmed down, I walked over to Eli and quietly asked if he was okay. He shrugged and said, "Yeah, I actually feel bad for Bryce. Imagine having a mom who fights your battles so bad she becomes the problem." That hit me harder than anything I've heard in 11 years of teaching. This kid had every right to be angry or scared or shaken up. Instead, he showed more maturity in 60 seconds than most adults show in a lifetime. I called his parents that night, not because he was in trouble. I just wanted to tell them they were raising someone special. His dad laughed and said, "Yeah, he gets that from his mother." And honestly, after watching what Eli did that day, I believed it. This story shows that real strength isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about staying calm when everyone expects you to break. Eli didn't just stand up for himself. He held up a mirror to a grown woman and let her see exactly what she'd become. And the fact that he still felt empathy for Bryce after all of it, that's not just maturity. That's the kind of character most people spend a lifetime trying to build. Stories like this remind us that sometimes the youngest person in the room is the one with the most to teach.